Hey guys, Robert here with the Fast Gun Minute. So today what we're going to talk about is range day, right? So this video is going to be fully on just getting ready for the range, how to prepare for the range, and tips and tricks on what you can do to the range. So the first thing I want to say is, one, make sure you have all your equipment and things like that. And then later in the video, we'll go over what I take to the range, what I put in my range bag, etc. But prior to going to the range, have a plan, right? So that's the biggest thing. So obviously, when you get a new gun or whatever, you want to go the first 2 or 3 range times, just, target practicing, seeing how the gun feels, shooting, etc. Right? But after that, you want to start having a plan for the range. What this will allow you to do is find areas that you need to work on, right? And then also, it'll help you, with round count, so that way you're just not out there racing ammo, you're not wasting your time as well, right? So when you go to the range, have a range plan. Figure out what you want to work on, right? Weak points in your shooting, et cetera, et cetera. So do you want to work on target transitions? Do you want to work on, acquiring your sights faster? Do you want to work on accuracy at long range? Shots in succession, 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, working on cadence when you're shooting, right? So when you're shooting, is it just, if you're shooting 5 rounds, is it just like bop, 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 or is it just like bop, 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 bop? Exactly. So those are things that you want to think about when you're going to the range. So these are things, like I said, when you go to the range, have a plan on what you want to work on, and that'll help you out a lot. Next most important thing that I feel is dry fire, right? So typically you want to have a dry fire regimen when you dry fire, maybe once a day, once every other day, whatever the case may be, but you want to have a dry fire regimen. And so before you go to the range, I would suggest the night before that you get a lot of dry fire in, or the morning before you go to the range, get some dry fire in. And then the first thing that I do when I get to the range is I dry fire, right? So, you don't want to, it's like stretching, it's like warming up, right? You want to be able to have that warm, get loose, get understanding, get feel back for the trigger, et cetera, et cetera. So dry firing is very important whenever you go to the range, and make sure you dry fire prior to. So for the bag that I do use when I go to the range, if I'm just taking my pistol, I usually just use my 511 Rush 12 bag. But if I am taking my rifle just to do small work, as if tomorrow, then I'll use the Savior bag. This one's pretty good. It's rated for the AR pistols. Mine's is a 10.5, so this kind of fits in there fine. I'll do if you guys want a longer in-depth view of this, then I'll do one. But for the most part, I carry 2 rifles, and this is the bag that I utilizes pouches all over. If you want a video on that, just let me know. I can do one on that. So before we get into everything, let's talk about ammo that I'm taking. So for my range day tomorrow, I want to shoot my pistol and my rifle. So we do have some 9mm. This is just Blazer. This is just really regular range ammo. I think it's aluminum case or something like that. But it's 115 grain 9mm. Yeah, so aluminum case. It's just nonsensical ammo. I mean, these are the times that we're in. Paid $13.99 for this for a box. So being that we're doing low round count, we're going to work on low round count drills that we can do. For rifle, we're just going to do, for the most part, I know that for tomorrow for rifle, we're just going to do confirming 0, and then doing small drills. Nothing really too picky. I do have this box of Stanwin Armory. It's 55 grain 223. Stanwin Armory just kind of throws it in here like this. But we're going to shoot some of this tomorrow. There's 250 rounds in here. We'll probably shoot 100 or something. I don't plan on shooting tomorrow. Just small stuff. So probably shoot 100 or so. It doesn't really matter. But the point is that we're just going to kind of get a little bit more comfortable, put some shots down range. Simple target shooting is what our aim is for tomorrow, and then reconfirming our 0, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the ammo that we're shooting tomorrow. This is remanufactured, but shoots really good. Dirty, but it shoots pretty good. All right, so now we're at the range. What else do we need to take? So targets, right? You can buy targets at the range. If you're really going to be shooting, I suggest getting targets from different places. There's tons of different instructors, etc., that have their own targets. Go with a plan like we stated, but then also have a target to go with that plan. So these targets are from Keep Firing LLC. You can see Aaron's logo on the side. The lead instructor there is Aaron, great guy. He just came out with his own targets. I like these, just a quick brush over. Obviously, it has the human anatomy in here, bowl pin shape for the hole. You have 0 ring side over here for targets, and then you have 1, 2, and 3. You can use those for different things, so you can even set up drills for yourself. Hey, shoot 1 shot at 1, 2 shots at 2, 3 shots at 3. You can make up things that you can go. So, but anyways, have some kind of target that you want to use, and then do that. So let's move those out of the way. Next, let's go into the meat and potatoes. Rifles here for aesthetics. Just a quick overview: Arrow upper lower, SB tactical brace, MS4 sling, MOE, PMAG, Romeo 5, Surefire 350. I think that covers everything. Moving on. All right, so Staying with targets, I do have some zeroing targets right here. Paper, paper, paper. Best targets that you can have, especially if you're shooting indoors. A piece of paper, you can do so much with this, it's ridiculous. So this is like literally the only target you really need if you're shooting indoors, if you really want to save some time and money, but you can do so many things. So something that I'll do, have a Sharpie, first of all. That's another thing that you need to have. But having a Sharpie, you can draw whatever you want. So I can draw circle over here, label this one A, circle over here, label this one B. You can draw them bigger, whatever the case is, and then shoot 1 shot, 2 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4, whatever you want to do. You can make it up, you can draw, you can do whatever you need to. But paper and a Sharpie are just heavily underrated. And then you can also use the Sharpie if you have targets, mark off shots that you already taken, et cetera, et cetera. Batteries. If we're shooting, especially with the rifle right here, this takes batteries. My optic, my flashlight takes batteries. And this is for the optic. I think this is for the flashlight. Don't really remember what takes AAA, but I bought it for a reason and it stays in my bag for a reason. So we'll figure that out later. But something does take those batteries. So can't be overstated enough. I have binoculars. These were gifted to me and I just throw them in my range bag. Reason being, if I'm shooting out to distance, I can still be able to see that. Eye and ear pro, obviously you need those. Doesn't really matter what you have, just get a good quality pair. This ear pro, I'm gonna be honest with you, I would suggest going with electronic ear pro. I'm just cheap and just haven't got around to doing it. But electronic ear pro would be the ideal thing. That way you can block out shots, but then you can also still hear. As we can see here, cleaning kit, right? A lot of people don't think about this, but when you're at the range, it's not necessarily to clean your gun, but like if you're shooting dirty ammo, if you're shooting specific ammo that may be a little bit more gritty and grimy, you do want to have a little bit of a cleaning kit just to knock off some stuff. So even if you just carry a toothbrush and maybe like a little small cleaning brush in there, along with some gun lube, that's really all you need. But when you're at the range, things can happen. Your guns can get dry, especially if you're shooting outside, the elements, maybe around dirt, et cetera, et cetera. It's always good just to have a cleaning kit. Or if you're having issues or something like that, it can help you kind of jam out things, certain things, if something's really stuck, etc. So just having a cleaning kit, being able to oil your gun, etc. If you know you're going to be shooting for hours, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, you're taking a class, etc., then definitely try to clean your guns before you go, and definitely afterwards. But you know, a cleaning kit, you don't have to take everything. Like I said, I usually don't take this whole thing, but I just take out bits and pieces what I may need, keep it in the bag. I did try to get video of me shooting at the range, but unfortunately, when I was shooting, I didn't bring my camera stand. And so every time I fired a shot, the camera would fall because of the pressure from shooting, you know, the pistol and the rifle. So, but if you guys have any questions as far as range day setup, anything like that, please feel free to let me know, reach out to me, contact me. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at kickass_4loco.